All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and get airborne with our accelerated retirement live trade brief. And we're going to open up our slots. And I had the slide up there for a little bit, and that's awesome. All right, let me put my cheaters on. Edmund Duncan from Stoughton, Virginia. Welcome aboard, Edmund, for an annual Full Throttle Max membership. Man, that dude nailed it right out of the gate. So welcome aboard, Edmund. All right, folks, let's go ahead and get airborne. We have a lot to cover today. I'm still looking at my cell phone to get some text from some folks down in Brazil. Well, not text. WhatsApp is what they use down there in Brazil. Brian, he's a great guy. I recommended him. Thanks, Brian. Edmund, welcome aboard. You are quite welcome. So there you go. There's real quick. Let me and again, I know it's annoying, guys. I'm looking for a better webinar platform. But real quick, here's the chat so far. So there's Brian. He's one of my Commodores Club coaching members. Right there. There's Edmund, who just grabbed an annual slot. And Bill, I appreciate that. Grab your slide. You're crazy if you don't. Thank you, Bill. So here we go, guys. I'm going to lead with the slot discussion because I haven't seen interest this high in 8 years. I appreciate the kind words you've been passing on via support emails and saying, hey, where do I sign up? I like shooting off the gun all at the same time for everybody, so everybody has a fair chance. So here's the way it works: is I'm going to open 50 right now. We're going to do our accelerated retirement brief. We got to talk about Brasil. We got to talk about MGM. I'm going to try and get a couple trades on, and hopefully Raytheon too. We're going to we got to talk some Raytheon. Love me some Raytheon. Usually we fill up by Friday. Even if we've sold out all 50 within the next 10 minutes, I'm still going to do the webinar tomorrow and Friday. I mean, that's a given. If we have a couple from the 50 left over by Friday, let's say, I think last time we got like 42 and we had like 8 left by Friday, then I open up some monthly options if you'd like to maybe kick the tires for a couple months. We also do that. So let me brief you on what Full Throttle actually is here at TGO. Again, thanks for the kind words. We had a hell of an Amazon trade in our weekly options brief. Again, no offense, you guys didn't attend that. That was for my paying weekly options members. We put on an Amazon bull put spread that many of you closed yesterday for about a $2,000 gain in one day. So I will tell you that this one-day trade this week paid for an annual defensive membership. Now, if you don't know what that is, that's what we're going to cover first, and then we're going to go do our accelerated retirement. Okay, so here we go. Full Throttle. First of all, I love the term, man. Here's the link. If you want to, it's in the chat box. It's in the Q&A box right there. You can pull it up right now. I don't think all 50 are going to go immediately. Usually we do about 30, 35-ish before the webinar tonight. People like to see the webinar tonight, a sample of the training. Then we get about, 10, 15 more. And then, apparently some people have to ask their significant others, which I understand. So that's usually the flow. But pull that link up right now if you want to and just have it handy. And then after I explain it, you can go ahead and pick which, we call it a track. We have offensive, we have defensive, and then we got max afterburner. So here we go, folks. I hope you'd say this by Friday, but hopefully you're seeing it by now. From the in-brief that you got Monday night with me to our primary live trade brief to our accelerated retirement brief today. The accelerated retirement portfolio, a little bit more, I'll say conservative, but it was my second, I think my second best performing portfolio last year. So good, solid base hit trades in there, man. So why do I say trading's like combat? Well, guess what, folks? In combat, unfortunately, we put at risk our most treasured capital that we have in this country, which is what? Young men and women. What do you put at risk when you trade? Actual capital, okay? You put dollars at risk. In combat, we put pink bodies at risk, okay? What else is similar between trading and combat, folks? You better do some freaking intense planning and intel gathering. That's what I'm going to teach you to do here. I'm going to show you as part of your first Full Throttle brief, the academic session, where I gather my intel, how I gather my intel, where do I look? And obviously we covered that Wall Street Journal article, or I didn't show you guys, but my members last week, I showed you the Wall Street Journal article that, the poor retail trader missed out on last year's rally. Let me go Gordon Gekko. I don't care, man, to be honest with you. That ain't my fault. If you had been around TGO or listened to me, I told you they were lying to you. So I'm going to teach you how to do intense planning and also do your intel gathering. What else? You need solid tactics. We ain't doing option strategies. If we do a long call diagonal today, that ain't an option strategy, folks. That's a tactic. Our strategy, or your strategy, is what? Wiz, I got to save for retirement. I just want to add edge. I want to manage risk. My son's going to college. My son's going to college. Those are strategies, folks, and I'm going to help you get there. And in combat, folks, we have got to manage risk. Yeah, I know some of you sat there Monday night and said, okay, this dude was a Navy fighter pilot flying off of aircraft carriers at night in bad weather over bad guy territory. He's going to talk to me about managing risk? Yeah, that was dangerous enough on its own to be stupid. Who was it? John Wayne in The Sands of Iwo Jima, right? Life's tough. It's even tougher when you're stupid. And that's true. So we got to manage risk in trading and in combat, and we have to contingency plan. Yesterday, I ran out of time to talk about the adjust and eject levels that I place in a trade. We're going to do that tonight in the academic training. I'm going to have a glass of Pinot Noir, and we're going to relax, and we're going to talk about how to adjust a spread or eject out of a spread that's going against us. So we're going to contingency plan in our trading. And at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, in combat, like this Libyan pilot right here in his MiG-23, he's a loser. The guy that shot him down, that's called a winner. I'm going to teach you how to be on the right side of this, okay? So let's go ahead and press forward here. What is Full Throttle? It's a program. It's a training program, folks. I'm not going to educate you. If you're looking for an education, go to Berkeley, and you'll probably leave dumber. The world is full of educated derelicts. We're going to train you here at Top Gun Options. And this, we came up with the Full Throttle program a couple years ago because we based it on tracks. This isn't a one-size-fits-all. If you don't even know how to spell the word options, like some of my Marine buddies, or you're a Jedi Master, we have it for you, okay? This ain't no, I'm not going to paradrap you in Afghanistan and throw a rifle at you and say, good luck trading. That's not it. So this doesn't exist anywhere. Here's how it works. If you're an aggressive type of trader, hey, Wiz, I want to put my fangs out of my oxygen mask. I want to dogfight this market. We have a track for that type of mentality. Wiz, I'm a little bit more conservative. Virginia, I know you're, I got a nice email from a woman named Virginia who she said she was a lifelong Democrat from Philadelphia. She became an independent, voted for Trump, and she'd do it again. Virginia's taking her husband, driving him to the doctors today, so she's going to watch the replay. So she's a little bit more conservative. She said she's managing a bunch of IRAs. We have a track for Virginia, so hopefully you're watching the replay, Virginia, and I promised to save you a slot. Anybody from Philly is a friend of mine. Wiz, I'm both, man. I want to put my fangs out of my oxygen mask and my Hornet, and I want to keep a little bit of powder dry. Well, guess what? 85% of the people that are going to grab these 50 slots end up doing the it's called max afterburner. It's both, okay? So here's how it's going to work. The portfolios that I manage here at TGO, remember, they're based on a $100,000 model portfolio. I can't tell you what to I'm not a registered investment advisor, folks. I train. This is training. You got to talk like our disclaimer says at the beginning to your RIA. I got a couple, the Barnes clan here, for example, and Steve up in Detroit, a good buddy of mine. I can put you in touch with folks who can manage your money. I can't do that for you. But the $100,000 model portfolios, I think we started off at 50 back in 2010, but just by hopping on the road and talking to people, this is kind of the middle of the road portfolio. You don't have 100 grand, you got $1 million or you got 10 grand, you change the amount of contracts, folks, right? We covered this yesterday with that Amazon bull put spread. If Wiz doesn't want to risk more than 5% of his model portfolio on any one trade, I don't want to risk more than $1 grand. I don't want to risk more than $1 million. I don't know, so you can scale it appropriately. So here's the 4 model portfolios. We do weekly options every Monday. We did it Monday afternoon at 1. No offense to the free members. You weren't invited because, well, we'll cover that on Friday. We did the PLTB yesterday. Today we're doing accelerated retirement, and then tomorrow we're going to do an analyze your trade and debrief session. So if you're a skier, or even if you're not a skier, you can probably guess what the colors and the shapes mean, right? So this is looking really, really, really good. Okay, so there's your 4 model portfolios. Now you can choose your track. The offensive track has everything that we do here at Top Gun Options except what you're going to get today, the accelerated retirement. Just think of the term. Offensive, fangs out, dogfighting. I want to trade some weekly options, Wiz. That's called the offensive track. Okay, so when I show you the page here in a couple minutes, if you want to trade weekly options, that's where you want to go. So this will be you this is an F8. This is the view through my F18 front screen. This is called the HUD, the heads up display. And there's an Air Force jet with a pipper. This is called a gun sight. You see that? In LAR means in launch acceptability region, which means, and you see this little black mark? When you come in the debrief, that means I had my trigger down in the cockpit, and this dude, he's getting full of BBs. So in any presentation, I always have to have a picture of an Air Force guy getting shot by a Navy guy. So there you go, Brian. It is an F-22, my friend. All right, Whiz, the weekly options things, maybe I'll do that in about 6 months when I'm comfortable. Then do this. This is called the defensive track. Okay, this is the defensive track. You get everything, access to everything we do, but instead of the weekly options every Monday at 1, you do the Wednesday at 1 with accelerated retirement. Makes sense, right? A little bit more defensive. So to put it into pictorial things, because I like pop-up books and pictures as a Navy fighter pilot, you're what? You're this E-2 Hawkeye, man. You got this radar dome on top. You got a couple dudes in the back of this airplane, 4 people back here scanning at downrange, looking, a little farther out there. So that is called the defensive track. Okay. And again, there's the link. go.topgunoptions.com/getft. Now, Whiz, I want both, man. I love gun and Air Force guys, and I want to have that E-2 Hawkeye so I can cover the entire battlefield. Here it is, right here. Okay? It is right here, and it's called Max Afterburner. You get access not only to everything we do here, but the AR, which you're in right now, and the weekly options on Monday. So you get the PLTB we did yesterday. You get an urgent alert I send out once a week. You do analyze your trade, which we're going to do tomorrow at 1, and you get the full throttle 8 training sessions. It's called Max Afterburner. And like I said, about on average, every one of these launches we do every 3 or 4 months, about 85% of the people do this. There you are, man. You're sitting in your F-14 Tomcat. There's Maverick and Goose, and you are at full afterburner. It's called Max Afterburner, and you get access to everything we do here at TG. Okay. And real quick, like I've covered Monday night, yesterday, and I'll cover again today, you don't have to be here. 80% in our last customers, I got to do another one of these. In our 2016 customer survey, about 80%-ish of our members work. But as you saw yesterday, you don't have to be here live. I sent you out the replay. You got a screenshot of the trades. And while you were sitting there, in death by meeting, zoning out, listening to your boss talk, you did what? You got a text alert from me saying, hey, here's the Amazon bull put spread, and here's the JP Morgan synthetic stock. Okay. So that is, you don't have to be here. And here's Chris isn't in here, obviously. Welcome aboard to Richard Lawson from Palm Desert, California. He got an annual offensive. So welcome aboard, sir. Check out what Chris had to say. Chris said what? Hey, man, I'm so geeked. I've been a subscriber for almost 3 years now, and this is the first time I've been able to attend live. I only know you via the replay. So, folks, again, you don't have to be here. You get a text alert right after. It takes me about 20 minutes to render this recording. It doesn't take me. It takes GoToWebinar. I usually stretch my legs, go outside, get a cup of coffee, and then I come back and blast the email so you can see the actual trades, okay? So, again, Chris, and Chris isn't the only one. We have a bunch of members who are like, hey, dude, I get my text and I watch the replays. So, all right. It is looking pretty good, and my phone keeps buzzing. You get 8 training sessions. Now let's go over to the page and let me show you what the training sessions are. So here's what the page looks like. And Mary, I will post that again for you. It's in the chat box. Everybody, you should have a chat box. Send chat to everyone. Sorry about that, Mary. If you didn't see it, it's right here. Here's the link. And I'll put it in the Q&A box too. And I'll send that to everybody. So, sorry, you know what, Mary? I don't know. If you come in like after I post it, I don't know, man. I'm a political science major and a caveman. All right, so here you go. So, folks, here's the defensive track right here. Like I said, you get everything and accelerated retirement. Here's the offensive. You get everything except accelerated retirement. You do weekly options, and then here's the Max Afterburner. These are the discounted prices. So, ladies and gentlemen, I saw you, for those of you that attended the PLTB yesterday, I showed you a one-day Amazon trade risking $5,000 that made $2,000. What was it? $2,010. One trade this week paid for an annual subscription. Right there. So men lie, numbers don't. Now, before you ask the question, folks, I'll say it again. If we don't fill up all 50 by Friday, I will open up a handful of monthly slots that obviously are cheaper than the annual. But if you stay in the monthly, you end up it costs you more. So this is actually the reason we start with the annuals is because usually these are the motivated folks and they know what they want to do. So like I said, if we don't fill all 50 by Friday, I'll know Friday morning. So make sure you come Friday if you're interested in a monthly. If we got some slots, they'll be there. If not, please, if you attended yesterday, you know why we only do 50 slots. I can't have a zoo. And let me apologize in advance for making everybody re-register. Go to webinar. I thought it was a sales call. Go to webinar call. They're like, you hit your 10,000 limit. We need to up it. I'm like, yeah, right. I looked in there and it was at 10,000. So the people that are listening to my voice right now are motivated because they re-registered, and I appreciate that. So I don't know if we're going to have any monthly slots on Friday. You can check it out. But here we go. Here's the training sessions you're going to get. It's on this page. I want to stop talking about this. I hate marketing and selling. I want to trade. But here's the 8 sessions. If you're brand new to options, folks, I'm going to spend an hour to 2 hours talking about this is a call, this is a put, this is volatility, these are Greeks. It's essentially options 101. Then we'll go, this is the building block approach, folks. This is what I did in the Navy. This is a wing, this is a cloud, here's aerodynamics, all the way up to here's how you drop bombs and kill bad guys. So we take a building block approach over these 8 sessions. Vertical spreads, we'll do some of that training tonight. Double vertical, synthetic stock. So again, yesterday it took me 15, 20 minutes to do the JP Morgan synthetic stock. It'll take me an hour to an hour and a half to slow down, answer everybody's questions if you're sitting there. So I promise you, and hopefully Valerie from Boca's here, my realtor, she's getting ready to burst, man. She's getting ready to have a kid, and she's a realtor, and she's going to do this. And she did the whole, hey, man, I don't even know what an option is, and I'm worried. I met her at Starbucks over here on Glades, and she's like, I get it now. We're going to take a building block approach to this, okay? So don't creep out. And again, if you're trading double straddle vertical butterflies and you're a Top Gun graduate, I guarantee you I'm going to make you better, okay? JP, let me show you some of these active folks. JP's a buddy of mine. JP's going to be he's going to be at the W with me in Fort Lauderdale on Friday night. My friend here, JP says, just sign up for the year, cheaper and well worth it. You will not be disappointed as long as you follow the rules of combat. Thank you, JP. And JP, and real quick, to my members who donated to for the charity event Friday night, hey man, I really appreciate it. You guys, hats off to you. I'm going to hook you up by reducing your annual subscription. So awesome. I'll see some of you Friday night at the W down here in Fort Lauderdale, but I forgot to say thank you again. And as soon as I saw JP's name there, and thanks for the compliments, JP. All right, we're almost done. Now to make you an offer I can't refuse, we're going to throw in all the manuals. These you get to download, start reading them, man. Primary, intermediate, advanced. This is just like Navy flight training. You start with primary, you move on and you read intermediate, and then you start reading advanced. Building block approach, folks. It ain't rocket surgery. Where's my buddy Shrek? I went through Top Gun with Shrek. He's a member here. He's my Marine go-to guy, and I make fun of him. You already got the OPCL. That's it. Enough. I'm done. I hate that stuff. Exactly. Just like let me see if anybody else has some good stuff. Greg, I apologize for that. Greg, some of my members yesterday, you guys are paying members and you couldn't get in the room. Greg, I'm going to fix that. That's on me, my friend, and I apologize for that. So, and Karen's up the road in Orlando. Karen, I apologize to you and a couple other folks that wrote me some debrief, some debrief comments. I'll take it, guys. It's on me. I guess it's a good problem to have for me, but it's bad for you. So that means it's bad for me. Okay. I think the word got out. I got a couple calls from, I'm going to be in Fast Company, and then a couple other magazines here in South Florida because of how we're doing and how this launch is doing. All right, let's go ahead and get airborne. Paul Thompson from Long Valley, New Jersey. What exit is that, Paul? I'm from exit 44. Grew up outside of Atlantic City in Margate. Ed, this is a recurring annual fee. I got to be honest with you. I can't believe nobody's asked this yet. Almost every launch, somebody asks, are these monthly fees? And I want to tell them yes. Maybe we'll get there one. Oh, before I forget, ladies and gentlemen, once you become an annual member, you are locked in at this rate. We every once in a while, when we're really, really, really kicking ass, I tell my marketing team this is way too cheap, and they're like, no, it isn't. I want to raise prices, but regardless, once you buy at your rate, I think we have people here from 8 years ago that got in for $495. That was like the first full throttle in 2010. And you know what they pay each year? $495. So you are grandfathered in at that. And the last thing I'm going to say on this page is this. We do maybe 3 or 4 of these full throttles a year. You get access from here until you're not a member anymore to every full throttle training session. Those 8 sessions, we charge, if you don't join right now, you know what, Whiz, it's cool, but maybe I'll just do the training. We charge $495 just for people to do this training who don't want all the other live trade briefs. So if we did 4 of these, what's that, a grand? No, 5 times 4 is $2,000. That's $2,000 essentially that you get for free. So you get to attend every full throttle, 8 sessions I do, maybe in March, June, and October of this year. And every year. Where's Fish? Fish, are you in here? Fish goes to every one of these, and he's been here for like 4 years. 4 years times 4, 16 times $500. That's how much Fish has saved in training costs. Paul's from Exit 22, Northwest New Jersey. Awesome, my friend. It is a great deal, Harry and everybody else. Brian, monthly at that level would be lifetime by the end of the year. That's exactly right, Brian. So again, I know my marketing team eavesdrops on these. I think this is way too cheap to be honest with you. I just showed you a one-day Amazon trade that made $2,010. So you would have made $15 extra and paid for your defensive membership. I know Amazon's a little flat today, and then JP Morgan was up a full percent before I jumped on the air here. What's JP Morgan doing now? It's pulled back a little bit. JP Morgan had a nice, it was up about $115. Market's pulling back a little bit. You know what it's pulling back on, guys, is this politics. So, Arthur, hey, thank you, Arthur. Let me show you this one. Yeah, the market reversed a little bit, Dan. We're gonna talk about this. But Arthur, thank you. Let me show everybody what Arthur just said. Arthur Kaufman, tell them Arthur says regarding Whiz, no one clearer in all explanations and no one better in results. That's why I enrolled in full annual. Thank you, Arthur. I appreciate that. And guys, if you're potential new folks, these are unsolicited. And Tamara's one of my go-to members here. Tamara just started investing last February. I met Tamara down here in our Miami event. And she's knocking the freaking cover off the ball. She's out doing her own intelligence gathering and emailing me great trade ideas. Like, Tamara, I didn't get a chance to reply to your email on waste management. Freaking well done. We will talk about that after we get done with this full throttle week. But I listen and watch every session, training and full throttle launches, everything, and I learned something in every one. Thank you, Tamara. That is well received. Okay. All right, folks, let's go ahead and get Airborne. Yeah, I see Amazon selling off, folks. So if you didn't get in yesterday's spread, here's what's going on, folks. And for those of you that hate either my politics or Fred, yeah, let me get into that. Let me get tactical. I hate doing this, but I know. Let me answer this quickly. If you didn't get in yesterday's Amazon trade, the answer is yes. I'm going to stick to what I do and be strategic. Okay. Mark, I do all of that. Calls, puts, and trade directional. The answer is yes. Brian, that's part of it, is the U.S. and China issues, and it's also what's going on in Washington with this whole secret society and dirty FBI agents. Guys, this is if Donald Trump or let's say rogue, dirty Republican agents had wiretapped Clinton, got a bullshit warrant to tap her. She was elected, and they're saying, hey, let's all meet and figure out how we can have a coup and shit like this. Some of the texts actually threaten physical force against the president. It's treason. It's a coup. If the tables were reversed, Democrats, their faces would be melting on right now. They would be storming the White House. But idiot Republican congressmen and senators, they play touch football when Democrats play tackle. They're standing there. I love Trey Gowdy. He lost me yesterday. Well, something seems fishy here. It ain't fishy, man. They are destroying evidence quicker than they can get their hands on it, folks. This is horrific. When I was driving back from Starbucks, I had a call with a bunch of my buddies, folks. This is a potential black swan event. If it comes out, truly, you guys know I know a lot of people up north inside the Beltway. I'm hearing it's even worse than I would think it is. This is horrific, folks. Uh, dirty. This was the FBI was supposed to be the last bastion of impartiality, good cops. And I'm not saying there aren't. I got several buddies in the bureau. A couple of them are fly. They're furious at Comey, and the bullshit media that's like. The run-of-the-mill FBI agent loved Comey and can't believe he got fired. That's a load of crap. If you believe anything you see on TV, you got issues, man. The average agent knew Comey was dirty. They couldn't believe he got in front of this nation for 20 minutes and said essentially Hillary Clinton's a felon, and then spent a minute and a half saying that's why I'm not going to charge her. But anyway, folks, the market's rolling over a little bit more as this is seeping in. This I told you yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't trade politics, you're going to be broke. Every pullback in 2017 was political. The fire and fury, the Trump's a racist, the can't repeal Obamacare, Don Jr., the Comey memo. Everybody remember the Comey memo? Everybody thought, oh my God, Trump's going to be impeached, and now it looks like that dude's going to go to jail. So this is incredible. It is absolutely incredible, folks. The deep state, Trump was wrong. He warned us about all this. He was wrong as to how bad it is. This is horrific. If I sent one classified email or had my own server or destroyed my BlackBerry, the Naval Investigative Service, I had a Navy and a Marine buddy. Their careers and their lives were destroyed. One dude accidentally put a Top Gun journal in his bag. Here comes the skipper. We're going to have an all officers meeting. He just, let me clear everything off the table. Took it home. Next day, NIS. He was Article 32. I got to calm down and rant because the animal farm system of justice in this country has to end. Everybody remembered Animal Farm from high school, right? All animals are equal. Some animals are more equal than others. Hillary Clinton and Huma Abedin, the way they handled classified information, if you were an enlisted sailor, a Marine, an officer, or an admiral, and you got caught doing that, you'd be in jail. So this is what's going on today, folks, is the guys from D.C. and Chicago I talked to they're finally waking up to the crap I've been saying for months, like, hey, fellas, and a couple ladies, this is bad. So I'm telling you, we're going to talk about some hedges here because this is, it is, Arthur, it is like a script. A secret society that meets and they actually talk in these text messages about deleting their text messages, and now the FBI can't find 5 months of them, like Lois Lerner's, the lady that targeted all the conservatives from the IRS, weaponizing the most feared agency in our country, the IRS, was disgusting. Now it turns out the FBI was. I got to stop ranting, guys, but I'm furious. If Trump did do something like this, I'd be screaming for his impeachment too. That's the difference between me and us and some other people. We hold ourselves accountable. It's awful. All right, we gotta go. U.S. sanctioned 16 North Korean agents. It claims it works in Russia and China. This is the danger that we talked about yesterday with my FXI trade. So FXI, write this symbol down, folks. We're not going to have time to talk about FXI today, but FXI, exactly. Ryan DeLong's like, Whiz, breathe. Dude, you know me. I can't. Here's why I'm ranting. It breaks my heart, man. I buried 11. I buried 10 men and the first female naval aviator, Kara Hultgreen. And they were spinning in their graves. We took oaths to support and defend the Constitution. Like that piece of shit, these FBI agents. First of all, the dude had an affair. He's texting his mistress. This dude still has a security clearance and he's going to get a pension. Ryan, if you and I did that in the military, we would have been booted out. No retirement. You'd be a dog catcher. That's why I'm furious, folks. Don't give me any of this partisan bullshit. Even if you're a liberal or a Democrat, you should be foaming at the mouth that it was essentially a coup. But anyway, all right. Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? So anyway, FXI, ladies and gentlemen, we have to keep an eye on it because, again, some of the now months later, people are starting to wake up. The market's starting to wake up to, oh my God, this country could be brought down by a scandal. Watergate was nothing. 6 to 18 minutes of tape that's gone. This is active coup, folks. So let me move on from this because my face is going to melt off. Here, this is awesome. Everybody have their popcorn out. You might not be following this if you're not in our If you're not a member yet and you're not in EWZ, you might not be following this. I'm like I said, I'm waiting for my WhatsApp to keep buzzing. Look at what happened yesterday during our live trade brief. I said, "Uh-oh, it's sounding like the judges in the city might give Lula a break. He got sentenced to what, like 9.5 to 10 years in jail. Yeah, JP, look at this, a 3.6% jump in the EWZ. What happened today? Let me tell you, I told you this yesterday. What happened? So there's three judges. One already came. I don't know how this works. Don't they all like come out like the Supreme Court and say, hey, it's a 2-to-1 ruling or 3-to-1 or whatever. One judge came out and said, yeah, this dude needs to go to jail. What did I tell you yesterday? Okay. This is so a judge. Whoa, enough with the lines, Whiz. So a judge yesterday, or not yesterday, a couple hours ago said, no, dude needs to go to jail. God bless freaking Brazil. If Lula's essentially their male is their Bill Clinton or Hillary Clinton. I guess Dilma would be Hillary. This dude's saying, no, man, you ain't above somebody who lives in a favela outside of Sao Paulo. You're going to jail, my friend, and the market is rallying. So if we have time, we're going to talk about EWC. Benoit, I did say that, didn't I? I said if he goes to jail, it's bullish. God bless the Brazilians. They're doing better than us. We got FBI agents who got reassigned when they're trying to overthrow the president. We used to shoot people like that or hang them. Benedict Arnold is probably sitting up in his grave going, are you kidding me? So anyway, so Brazil, we got to keep an eye on the EWZ today. If we have some time, we're going to talk about one of those trades. The dollar, man. So Team Trump is at Davos. You know what's funny about Davos right now? There, all these global limousine liberals who, fly there in their private jets, take their limos, and kind of roll down the windows and say somebody should help the poor people, and then roll their windows back up and keep going. And they're talking about global warming or climate change. It's a freaking blizzard. We don't even know if the president's going to make it in there. There's like 20 feet of snow in Davos. So that's a little comical. But Steve Mnuchin, I had dinner with Steve Mnuchin. You guys know my sister is good friends with Steve Mnuchin. I always have to disclose that I know people. So I know the Treasury Secretary. I don't know him well. He talked down the dollar, man. He's like, I don't mind a weak dollar. So, and he sharpened his. So Brian, to your point earlier that the market kind of reversed, Steve Mnuchin's out there going, hey, man, yeah, America first. Do you see the trade surplus that we have with China or even a freaking Mexico? So in theory, Trump could get them, quote, to pay for the wall, even if he just, how do we sign up all these years? I know how we signed up all these years because of our Manchurian candidate, but for bad deals. We signed up for a lot of crap, whether it was the Iranian nuke deal. Well, maybe if we really, really, really want them to like us and we give them a ton of crap, they'll want to kill us less. No, they actually look at us like we're dumber than they think we are, and it gets worse. So love or hate this administration or the man, and I was talking to my dentist this morning. He's like, I can't stand the dude, but I love the message. So that's kind of where I am, folks. So the message in Davos is going to be, hey, America's open for business. We slashed corporate tax rates. Hey, Apple, bring some of that cash back from County Cork, Ireland, and hire. And they're doing it. Okay? So we're starting to be the best house in I'm not going to say the world's in a bad neighborhood, but we are going to keep our Captain Kirk trades, the FXI, the China and the Brazil trades. We ain't going to have a lot of chips deployed outside the United States. Again, too big to believe, folks. This is in 2009 2009 the government bailed out businesses that were too big to fail. This is why I'm hearing that a lot of that these quote test messages are going missing, and they are destroying evidence, because if we find out how disgusting and dirty this scandal actually is at its bedrock, we will be shaken to our foundation. Okay, so this is why I swear to God, I've been texting and WhatsApping a lot of my Brazilian folks. I'm like, God bless you. I'm like, we could learn something from you. You sentenced a former president to 10 years in jail, and at least one of the judges is saying, yeah. I think the reason they're staggering this decision, ladies and gentlemen, is to do what? Is to kind of float out a little bit of a trial balloon and make sure that the place ain't going to go apeshit. Now, a third of his country is, or his former country mates will die for him. But the 2/3 that I talked to, folks, I haven't met one Brazilian in Florida who likes the dude. So this is, and well, Harry, you bring up a great point. What happened with our bailout? Does anybody remember? We used to trade AIG like you read about. We closed some AIG long call diagonals for $30,000-$40,000 profits in year to a year and a half time frames. Why? We had a government put in AIG. Every American listening to my voice or looking at my, and somebody asked me, these aren't flowers. If you look close, they're actually sharks. But everybody, we bailed out AIG. You ready for this? $185 billion of your tax money and my tax money. We paid AIG. You know how much money we made on that transaction? Can anybody tell me? Any of my non-members tell me? $22 billion. So, ladies and gentlemen, the U.S. Treasury made $22 billion. AIG not only paid that money back, but we owned stock. Well, actually, we didn't. Apparently, the federal government did. Did anybody get a check in their mailbox, a piece of that $22 billion? Of course you didn't. That's how our government works. But ladies and gentlemen, remember, the government doesn't have a nickel. It has not one penny to its name. You know what it does? It is the referee of money. The government doesn't have a nickel. Well, unless you're the Fed, right? You print your own. But here's my point. It has zero capital. All it does is it takes money from Whiz and it throws to an illegal immigrant in California. And that shouldn't be happening. Starbucks. Folks, everybody knows the skipper of Starbucks is probably running for president as a Democrat in 2020. Exactly, Brian. The Fed isn't the government. And that's part of the problem, Congress has with, or some Republicans have with the Fed. Schultz, I know nothing. The skipper of, it's Kevin Johnson now. That's right. But anyway, you guys remember Schultz. Remember when he said, when Trump got elected and the whole immigrant thing, he's like, I'm going to hire 10,000 illegal immigrants. And the country went apeshit because we're like, hey, how about you? We have 50,000 homeless veterans in America. Why don't you hire 10,000 vets? And then their stock imploded. People boycotted him. He came out. For 2 months, I saw pro-military Starbucks commercials. It was comical. But anyway, this had to hurt them to put this press release out. They're going to spend $250 million on new employee benefits, boost pay. They're going to open more places. 150 U.S. hourly workers. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is why my skin cringes at the politics. These people are still running after a Russia narrative, and they can't admit that not one whenever I get into a Twitter fight with somebody over this stuff, they keep bringing up the fact that Walmart closed some stores. They will not mention the nearly 200 U.S. companies. J.P. Morgan yesterday, we're going to increase pay 10%, and we're opening 100 new branches. Walmart's closing stores. Are you kidding me? Let me go Gordon Gekko. It's called capitalism. I don't give a shit. If that increases Walmart's bottom line, close more. And then give more money to the remaining employees. So, folks, you know what I'm getting to, guys. I could not be more bullish on this rally. I watched Mr. Wonderful and John, or Pete was on halftime, my buddy Pete Najarian. I've met a couple of the other guys. They started the halftime report off with what? Is this too euphoric? Is this rally over? The answer is no. We get some sort of deep state Benedict Arnold, no kidding people. I already think I know for a fact they committed treason. And the Democrats or the Republicans are just kind of playing touch football like, well, it's odd and we need to look into it. If the tables were reversed, they would be screaming for people to be arrested. But anyway, this rally is just gaining steam, folks. Are we going to have a 5% pullback or something like that? Yeah, it's going to shake the trees out or shake some of the dead leaves off the tree. But you can't be more bullish on this market. Look at this headline that I woke up to today. I almost spit my coffee all over the place before I had to get my head drilled. Wall Street strategists can't keep up with the stock market. Ladies and gentlemen, every time I got on the Metra in Naperville to take it a 32-minute train ride into the Board of Trade Union Station in Chicago, everybody's face was buried in the Journal. It's the paper of record. You have got to subscribe to the Wall Street Journal and read it cover to cover. You don't know what a collateralized debt obligation is? Doesn't matter. Read that article. Grow some situational awareness. So if Wall Street strategists can't keep up, how do you think the retail trader did last year? Our TGO members, as you guys know, we printed money. This is comical. They can't keep up with the market because they're not believing what is actually going on? That's why I got to be honest with you, folks. The idiots that are, well, we think Nancy, in off-year elections, the party not in power tends to win, and Nancy Pelosi will be the new Speaker of the House, and she's going to impeach Trump. I'm like, not only is that not going to happen, the Republicans are going to pick up seats. Why do you think Chuck Schumer folded like a cheap suit this week? You're going to run on kneeling for the national anthem and disrespecting our flag and veterans. Don't give me the free speech bullshit. You can have free speech on your own time, not on my company time if I own the Eagles. You're going to run on putting illegal immigrants in front of law-abiding Americans. And what else are you going to run in? They can't. So, ladies and gentlemen, what is the pullback going to be? What's oil doing today? Where's my oil story? Oil, Jeffrey Gunlock. No, so look at this, guys. WTI, we are at, you ready for this, folks? We are at 3 years record highs. We're at 3-year record highs with WTI. So, and I covered this earlier, there's whispers of $80 oil. Our ExxonMobil position is printing money. This is absolutely incredible, folks. So again, if you guys sign up, usually I was going to show you a copy of my book here. We do a process called red teaming. I swear to God, guys, I get up early. I look for ways to be wrong. I look at how I'm going to get shot down. I'm telling you, North Korea, this deep state, literally the lights coming on in the kitchen and the average investor going, Jesus Christ, we can't even trust. So the government, actors in our government tried to overthrow the duly elected president. This is a Tom Clancy's got to be sitting up in his grave too, going, I couldn't have written this. Iran, Saudi Arabia, you just can't. What else? Well, let me pick your brains. Let me take a break here. Exactly, Brian. I do this red team exercise daily. Let me read some of these comments. What do you think is a black swan event that I'm not seeing? And welcome aboard, Dennis. I'm going to get your last name wrong. I apologize. Dennis Shelley from New Berlin, Wisconsin. Welcome aboard, my friend. What do you guys think? Brian, man, that freaks me out. Assassination attempts. Cat, dollar imploding and metals to the moon because of inflation. Cat, I appreciate that. Harry, tidal waves hits the coastline. Did everybody see that Alaska had a tsunami alert earlier in the week? That's not a far-fetched idea. Let me ask this, Tiffany, worldwide tundra thawing, releasing tons of carbon dioxide and killing everyone. Tiffany, I'll take the other side of that trade. Hey, Tamara's in Rio, Wisconsin. A China trade war. Dan, I like the way you're thinking. Benoit, bond market implosion due to inflation. Tim, I can count on Tim for my daily laugh. Starbucks runs out of coffee. That's from the movie Airplane, right? Are you telling us everything? We're also out of coffee. Everybody goes crazy. A pandemic. Oh, Larry, I didn't need to read that. You're right. I don't like talking about that one. Brian says the trees will love the CO2. CO2 makes it grow. Paul and Brian both correcting Tiffany there. I am good, Tim. Come on, man. This ain't my first radio. Dan, chemical warfare. Nothing, Arthur, nothing will shake the market except aliens remanding the futures exchange servers. So I feel a little bit better because, again, and I supposedly the smart money that I talk to, I go for a run, I'm talking to people, I'm Skyping. A lot of, hey, Werner, that might be one right there if Trump resigns. I'm hearing, I hear the dude wants to run again. I'm hearing the guy might just do 4 years and put in the VP. He might say, hey, man, I did more in 1 year than most presidents do in 8. Now I'm going to go back and print money based on my name. That could be, but him resigning out of the blue, that would be, you're right. That's a great one, Werner. Very well said. And I love Pence, too. Asteroid. Okay. All right. So now we're reaching. But this is what you should do every once in a while, guys. And we'll do this here at TGO is red team. If we're all thinking alike, nobody's thinking. We're going to talk about MGM in a couple minutes. I'll leave that alone. Apple, that's for tomorrow. You guys know how I feel about social media. Twitter, the COO said, hey, man, I'm bailing. I'm getting off this sinking ship. What's Twitter? I didn't even look at Twitter today. I'm kicking myself, folks. When I told you to get bearish on Twitter, look at Jesus. It's down another 2% today. Nice call, Whiz. I tell everybody to get bearish on Twitter, and I forget about it. I tell them again to get bearish here, and I don't. And then we talked about it. Of course, now we'll throw in a bear call spread, and it'll pop. So the only tech that I like is Apple. And here's what's comical, folks. Here's a 30-second rant. Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi went apeshit the other day that we'd spend $1.6 billion just this year on a wall. Did they not see the Wall Street Journal's headline that Apple's going to pay $38 billion in taxes? So, hey, technically, the liberals in Cupertino will love this. Apple to pay for border wall. Oh my God, that would be a great fake news headline. So technically, folks, Apple just paid for 5 years of building of the wall. Isn't that incredible? So fake news. Facebook admits social media is a threat to democracy. Mark Zuckerberg, you ready? This is on Mashable last night. Here's Mark Zuckerberg, how he's going to answer fake news in this garbage 2-question survey. You ready? Here's what Facebook's going to ask you this. Do you recognize this website, and do you trust it? This is how Mark Zuckerberg and his Death Star of Facebook is going to weed out fake news. I thought it was an Onion headline. Facebook chief marketing officer resigns to help the Democratic Party win midterms. So don't sit here, folks, and tell me that these tech companies aren't liberal. If the White House is Republican, the Senate stays Republican, and the House stays Republican, you think they're going to be friendly to these tech companies or not? So I don't trust Facebook as far as I can throw them. I don't like the stock. I don't care if it's up from when I told you to sell it. This was a good trade to bail out here. I told you this was most likely a dead cat bounce. That's a dead lion bounce. Forget it. Get out of it. It's ridiculous. Stay out of stocks that get political. The other political stock that we just totally poo-pooed was Goldman Sachs. And this one, it's through the double top here, but again, watching Lloyd Blankfein from Davos, it reminded me why we got out of that one. Let me blow through this because we got to get trading. We already talked about that. Oh, infrastructure. Did anybody see the draft infrastructure plan? Can you say CSX? So we haven't talked about our CXS, Charlie Sierra X-ray, but here's the leaked draft of the infrastructure plan. It talks about rail, it talks about roads, it talks about concrete, power, water. This is a great read, man. Highways, transit, rail. Apply FAST Act streamlining provisions to rail projects. Folks. And it's funny because people go, Trump didn't do shit his first year in office. Him taking a pen and undoing 90% of Obama's burdensome regulations. Folks, the Peak 6 compliance department in Chicago used to be like a floor of 100 people. The regulation was stifling. Now I think they got I don't know. I'm spitballing here. There ain't 100, man. They have loosened not only financial but EPA and all sorts of regulations. Folks, I love clean water like the next. There ain't no Love Canal or 3 Mile Island going on. All the Democrats feel Montgomery Burns from The Simpsons. It ain't going to happen. Okay, we're not that bad. But we'll talk about our CSX trade. If you're not in it, I would absolutely get in CSX. And then we already covered Amazon yesterday. All right, I got to move, man. That was way too long of a rant. Graham, I agree. Steel, BHP Billiton, sure. Hold on, JP, what you say up here? I went off the reservation for Captain Kirk trade, bought weed synthetic stock with a protective put. Let you know in 6 months how that turns out. JP, you guys do a urine test at FedEx? Werner, Goldman Sachs looks political since too many of their sailors are in the administration. Werner, I agree, but I disagree. I agree they look political, but a lot of people think it's more the Democratic way than Steve. I got to tell you, Werner, Steve Mnuchin and Gary Cohn aren't Republican. Does anybody know what Steve Mnuchin and Gary Cohn's parties are and how they voted and who they've donated money to? Tiffany, I'll take that bet. But $1,000 bottle of wine on Facebook, $200. In what time frame? I absolutely think Facebook's going to be $200. I'd rather deploy my capital into an Amazon or an Apple, not a Facebook. I know. I have a congressional buddy who's like, let's just say that Facebook's got a target on its back to regulators. You want to talk about some burdensome weaponizing stuff? You don't think the Republicans, I'll leave it at that. But Tiffany, I'd rather deploy my capital in elsewhere. Arthur, yeah, exactly. All right, we got to get going. Gordon Gecko party. We should do that. Mark, we'll talk about CSX. We have let's get tactical here, guys. Let's start talking. CSX. If you don't know, so here's another Gordon Gecko moment. If you attended the primary live trade brief yesterday, I briefly talked about MGM and a Gordon Gecko moment. It was right here. The biggest mass casualty. You know what? I have to correct myself, and here's another rant. I corrected a lot of people around this October event. The largest murder of U.S. citizens on U.S. soil, that is in fact false. What was the largest murder of U.S. citizens on American soil? Does anybody know? No, by an American, not 9/11. I'm sorry, guys. 8,000 people are typing 9/11. Mike, abortion. Oh boy. Civil War. I'll give you that one. Here's what I'm trying to get at, guys. Does anybody remember anything called? No, I'm talking about on U.S. soil. Does anybody remember a little town in Texas? Now you guys are getting it. It is Waco, folks. Does everybody remember when the FBI and the ATF threw smoke bombs and burnt down? How many children died? They burnt to death in a bus, for Christ's sake. We torched the place. Why didn't we just put up barbed wire guard towers and call it a prison and throw food over the fence? It was awful. I don't care how you felt about that dude. Jesus Christ, man. Throw up a fence, put barbed wire on it, and say you guys are sentenced to jail. But anyway, guys, here's what I'm getting at. Let me go Gordon Gecko. So, horrific tragedy in Vegas. MGM owns the Mandalay Bay. We bought it. We got into our long call diagonal right there. Look at the run that we've had. It's up another 1.2 or almost 2% today. We put on bull put spreads on the front month, and we put on bear call spreads. Why am I talking about MGM? First of all, it's a position in our portfolio. What's the strikes here? MGM. So we have on the 34.5, 34 for February 9th at 17 cents. So here's the metrics on this trade. So this is for existing members. We're risking right in the line with our SOP. We're risking 5 to potentially make 25. So the two people who just bought offensive annual memberships, if you were in this MGM trade, it's already paid for right there. We should probably close that. Let's take a look at what it's trading at here. The Feb 9, 34.5, 34. 34.5, 34. It's at 3 cents. 17 minus 3 is 14. How many contracts did we do? 14 times 150. 14 times 150 equals, there's $2,100, ladies and gentlemen. Close this trade now. Exactly, Brian. So not only did we have a current front month bull put spread on, we have a long call diagonal, and that one's a couple lectures ago, so I'm not going to put it on. We're going to do a long call diagonal today, and I'm going to show you the tactics. Kevin closed mine this morning. Nice profit. Exactly. Awesome. So good. MGM up 100. Brian's MGM trade is up 140%. Let me show you. And again, so I'm not reading stuff make believe. So there's the comments right now. So there's Brian up 140%. And then Kevin saying, hey, I closed mine. Nice profit. Harry said he didn't get filled. Only have your Jan 19. No worries, man. It beats a stick in the eye, doesn't it, Harry? I mean, look at when we put on the not synthetic stock, the long call diagonal, and look at the run. We put it on at about $30 bucks. It's up at $38, folks. That's an $8 run in MGM since we got into it. So, folks, this is, again, you have to use the SOT, strategic, operational, tactical. I know a lot of guys who just trade technicals or volatility, or they don't pick their heads up out of the foxhole and use their brains. Holy shit, huge tragedy in Vegas. Guess what? I'm crying in my flight suit, in my Gordon Gecko Armani. I'm buying the hell out of MGM. And like we talked about last week, JP Morgan did the whole, hey, we see a 30% rise in JP Morgan here. Harry's up 182% on his Jan 19 long call diagonal. So again, folks, Weekly options, Amazon trade this week, 1 day, $2,000. That's awesome. Just as not equal probability, but Tuesday, Jeff Bezos could have come out and ripped his face off and said, I'm really Satan underneath this, and the stock went to zero. We could have lost $5,000. So, but look at the percentage returns that my members have in our long trades, man. Harry's got another year for that Jan 19 MGM trade to work out, and he's already up 100 and whatever you said, Harry, 82%. So again, and if you got in the yesterday, if the JP Morgan trade ran away from you yesterday, or now it's back up with the market turning around again, man, we're making a road trip here. Look at this. Woo! Let me do the 3-day chart. So when was yesterday? Yesterday was Tuesday, Whiz. So when was 1 o'clock-ish? Here's our live trade brief. So MGM, so JP Morgan, guys, if you did a synthetic stock yesterday, you're already looking pretty good in this trade as well. Okay. That's MGM. Oh, EWZ. Duh. Hold on, folks. Let's talk Brasil. Which one do we have on? So we have on the Feb 9. Oh, no, that's MGM. The Feb 9, 41.5, 41. So let's brief this current trade. EWZ, the 41.5, 40. Well, I mean, we don't. It's how profitable. So there's, we have to go all the way down here. Here's the 41.5 right here. 41.5 would actually be right there. So it was resistance for a while. It was a little bit of kind of support, and we put on our bull put spread. Look at, we're up 6%. Holy shit. Brian's up 2% since JP Morgan yesterday. Dan's up 85% on EWZ. So here we go. So let me show you some of these comments. So Kevin, you're absolutely predicted today's pop during yesterday's brief. Thank you, man. Dan's up 85% on this. So guys, I would close for all my current members. If you're in the EWZ, I didn't even have to bring it up. What is it, like 3 cents? The 41.5, 41. It's 3 cents, 15, 12. Yeah, that's up about $2,000 as well. So guys, instead of sitting here, look, it's January 24th. February 9th is 2 weeks away. Here's an Obama teachable moment, guys. An Obama teachable moment is this. Do not, if you're up $2,000 on this EWZ trade, so there's $4,000. Here's 2 accelerated retirement trades that we did. When was this accelerated retirement brief, Whiz? It was January 12th. So what's that, 2 weeks? In 2 weeks, we've made $4,000 on these trades, but let's go Obama teachable moment. Please do not sit here and say, I'm going to squeeze out another $250 out of this trade in 2 weeks. Please do not do this. First, Brian, you're right. First of all, free up the margin. Free up the margin and don't risk it. Here's what will happen in EWZ between now and February 1st. So let's say Lula doesn't go to jail. And apparently that's what it's second judge. Okay, so that's why it's rallying. So I guess the dude is, thank God, Brazil. Hey, Brazil, can you teach us something about holding our politicians? They've been a shit show for decades, folks. Now they're holding their politicians hostage. Maybe it's going to take us becoming a shit show for us to wake up. So, ladies and gentlemen, exactly, Tim, close profitable trades to do what? Free up the capital. I guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, if you try and squeeze the extra $250 in 2 weeks out of this trade, my JBS buddies are going to be caught on tape again trying to bribe Temer, and we're going to have a stock market implosion. Stop it. Do not turn a 70, 80, 90% winning trade into a losing trade. Everybody give me a vertical head nod. Everybody give me a vertical head nod. Okay? JP, ExxonMobil. Let me show everybody this too. JP, the power of options. Our ExxonMobil synthetic stock already doubled since getting back into it in the past November. So, guys, we bailed out of ExxonMobil, JP, about 8 months ago or whenever it imploded, and we got back into it. So, JP's already doubled his ExxonMobil. Richard, I'm up 6.1% on your on the JPM 105 calls. Arthur, you beat me to it. It is time for a new EWZ trade. Let me stop. Let me cover the existing trades and stop rambling because I want to get a couple new trades on here. And we got to talk about volatility. Dan just closed EWZ for an 82% profit. Awesome. Okay, let me go back a page. Oh, this one. This is a free trade if you're a potential new member or my folks just joined. We did this on Visa last week. We did synthetic stock. This is and Brian, my hats off to Brian for reminding me of this whole sector, the financial services sector. So Visa, we put this on last week, Brian. Look at the run in Visa that we've had in a week. So this is a yes. This is a Jan 20 synthetic stock. That's a yes to put on. I didn't cover that one. So that's what we did last week. Sorry about that. This is last week's. It's the Visa synthetic stock, and then 2 weeks ago, right here, I missed one, guys. 2 weeks ago was the Brasil and MGM trades. Okay, sorry about that. I skipped one. And then this one, folks, was what? And again, this is all live here, guys. This trade expires tomorrow. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a potential new member, look at this trade. This is an Amazon 1160. When do we put this one on? At the end of last year. This one will expire tomorrow. I told you guys to get out of it last week, but if you're still in this Amazon trade, you're looking at a $2,400 gain. Is there anybody still in this? Let me look at the comments here. Anybody still in this Amazon trade? No, I bailed. Yes. GM, yeah, absolutely. Well, when you sign up, you get access. This is all the member pages. So you guys, I opened the door to our squadron, and you guys are seeing. So here's all the trades. Is you just go to that session, and you'll see the trade. Dan, I closed the Amazon at 95% already. Rob, I got out Monday at 85%. All right, good. So hopefully, I was going to say, if you're still holding this, you owe me 50 push-ups and turn on your camera so you can watch us do it. You should have closed that at that 80, 70, 80, 90. But I just wanted to show our potential new members. So in this portfolio, ladies and gentlemen, I've gone back a full month. I've gone back to December 27th webinar, and somebody add that up. 2, 4, 6. There's 8. There's what? About $9,000 in profits. $9,000 in profits in this portfolio. Again, guys, $9,000 in profit just in accelerated retirement. That pays for 3 years of an annual membership right here. Okay, and again, men lie, numbers don't. I just showed you all 3 of the last trade briefs in a row. So again, guys, I can drag you to water. I can't make you drink. I will tell you. But it's CSX isn't in this portfolio. I will tell you, what was it? I had a bear call spread on right here, guys. That sucked. This earnings was right here. CSX. I put on an iron condor here. Let me just show you, kind of like the 52.5. What was it? 57.5. It blew through the 57.5. But that's not in. I think it's in tomorrow's Analyze Your Trade portfolio. If it's not in what we just reviewed, it ain't in this one, because I do want to show you losing a. I lose, we lose, I lose. So don't sit here and, like I said, we're at a 91% win rate for the past 3 months. But what else did I had a losing Amazon weekly options trade last week. So don't. I'm not going to sit here and blow sunshine. What was this EWZ? Now I'm going back to 20 December. All right, let's stop. This was another max winner, the 37.5, 38 bull put spread. So I think we're looking good. Raytheon. Thank you, Dan. Let me show this. Let me show you these comments. New members. Again, this ain't. If you were Congressman Schiff or Dianne Feinstein, you'd think Russian bots are posting all this. Rob got out Monday 85%. Dan 95. Tim's talking CSX. That's what I was talking about. That Tamara's out at an 89%. Kevin just mentioned our Raytheon position. Dan, new people. You not only learn the trades made, but also learn how to trade on your own. So Dan gets my award, gold star for the day. I'm a teach a man how to fish and teach a woman how to fish. This isn't a service, folks, where I throw trade ideas at you. If you saw yesterday, it took me 20 minutes to go through a JP Morgan trade. And trust me, when I started Top Gun Options, folks, you guys know I ran the Options News Network. I saw services out there that would just blast you with nonstop trade alerts. And it was like you airdropping in the middle of Afghanistan, with a rifle, and them saying, "Hey, good luck. Let us know how everything goes." That's awful. That's not what we do here. Rebecca Johnson, Oceanside, California. I was house hunting in Oceanside, and that's where we're going to live. So welcome aboard. She is a full throttle annual max. All right, so now we did our portfolio review. Let's get into our potential new trades. This is a target-rich environment. Let's just talk existing positions. MGM has earnings coming up on the 20th. MGM would be a potential yes for me today. I got to be honest with you. I'm feeling an EWZ, but and it would be right here. It would be right at this. What's that? The 43 and a half. I priced this bull put spread out earlier. The 43 and a half, 42 and a half. So let me tell you, if we have time, so EWZ is a yes to a Jan 20 either synthetic stock or long call diagonal. Whiz, you lost me at right after you said, hell, you lost me with EWZ. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to get an hour and a half to 2 hour training on a diagonal and synthetic stock. Okay, so if you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. Okay, but for the folks that are kind of sort of know, the same procedure I did yesterday on JP Morgan, I would do on Brasil. I might throw it to a vote in a little bit and do a long call diagonal. I might let you guys pick the name. So I'm torn between, and you know what? With my luck, I don't know, the third judge will come out and say no jail, and I don't know, somehow he rules over the other two judges. That's not going to impact our Jan 20 position because obviously look what happened last time. Stupidity reigned in Brazil. Oh my God, our president's corrupt. Yeah, no shit. And then we got long and it did this. So even if we had one of these big pullbacks in EWZ, I'd add to my position. So let's do exactly. A lot of folks are agreeing with me. I mean, this thing's up 4.5. If you attended yesterday, you heard me, again, men lie, numbers don't. I said the EWZ will pop tomorrow because I believe in the Brazilians and they're going to hold their leaders accountable. Nice freaking call. So let's do MGM. I feel better about MGM. It's still riding the JP Morgan. I have a buddy who's a market maker in the SIN stocks, and he said, Whiz, that JP Morgan call, his phone has been ringing off the hook from people wanting to buy in large positions MGM. We saw a massive buyer of, what was it, the March. Where the hell's my pad? The March. What the hell was the strike? Somebody put on a massive earnings trade today. Where the hell was it a March? It was a post-earnings massive call buyer. Where's the volume? No, it wasn't the March. Regardless, guys, let's go through our trade plan and throw one of these on. Nikki, real quick, on the JP Morgan synthetic stock, E-Trade wouldn't let me make the trade. Is there a way, to include the 90? Oh, Nikki, well, that's why you couldn't do it. You said, is there a way to include the 90 short puts? No, Nikki, remember, those 90 puts, you're buying them. The reason you couldn't do that was because not only did you try and sell the 115 puts as part of the synthetic stock, you tried to sell the 90s, their heads probably exploded. The risk to that trade probably was $1 quadrillion. So, Nikki, you're buying those 90 or 92, whatever they were yesterday, the protective put. So that's why you flip your sell to a buy. Does that make sense? Well, Nikki, okay, so maybe that was a mistype. If you tried to buy them and they still rejected it, it might be, is this in an IRA or a 401? And again, I can't, Nikki, don't let me go past that line. I'm going to hang out right here and say, if it's in a retirement account, you might not be able to do synthetic stock. So you, Nikki, would want to sign up and you'd want to come and learn that, hey, man, I can't do synthetic stock, but Whiz, why don't you teach me how to do a long call diagonal? So that's another distinction between a long call diagonal and synthetic stock is one you might be able to do in one account and one you might be able to do in another. Does that make sense? So, or exactly, Tim, it might have been a margin issue. I don't want to, I don't know. Okay. All right, let's press. And guys, if we run out of time, maybe I'll do the long call diagonal tonight. Or crap. You know what? We'll put it up for a vote. I'm having a great time, man. Maybe because we need to. Let me go away from MGM for a second, because if you're a current member, Here's your homework you need to be doing once we get done our accelerated retirement brief the rest of the afternoon. I would start looking at getting bullish on volatility. I'm telling you, Chuck Schumer is pissed. Did anybody see what happened at Chuck Schumer's house last night? Did anybody see what happened at his house? About 200 illegal immigrants stormed Chuck Schumer's. Andrew, I'm not reading that, young man. If it was only members, Andrew, maybe I'd read that. So illegal immigrants stormed Chuck Schumer's house last night. Now who wants to put up a wall? So anyway, I hear he's pissed. I hear he's not even if Trump says, I'll give you everything DACA, I still hear this is real news, guys. This is last night Chuck Schumer's house got stormed. Again, the liberal media ain't going to show you the video clips of it. Go on my Twitter feed. You can see it. Of course, MSNBC and CNN ain't going to show that because the dude got his clock cleaned by Trump. I'm going to fly around the country, Chuck, and every city I'm going to stop in and say, you shut the government down to protect illegal immigrants, potential Democratic voters over Americans. And Chuck's like, crap. So anyway, here's others covered it. Good, Brian. Exactly. So, yeah, exactly. A lot of people saw the clips. Here's what I'm getting at. The dude's pissed. His base is pissed. And not his base. I mean, you talk to your average Democrat, they're like, oh, man, the optics of that sucked. I'm friends with everybody. A lot of the Democrats are like, oh, man. Just like Trump played the kneeling into an anti-American thing. I get it was free speech, but I didn't go into Peak 6 every day and take a knee on their time. Trust me, I wouldn't work there longer. So Trump has, love him or hate him, he has a unique ability to kind of do the Jedi mind trick. These aren't the droids you're looking for. And all of a sudden he's changed. He drives the fight. That's a term that we use as fighter pilots. I never went into the merge against a MiG-29 and looked over my shoulder and said, hey, I wonder what he's going to do. I drove the fight. And he ended up reacting to me. So why am I ranting about this? Because I don't have time today to go in. Maybe we'll do it tonight. The bullish double vertical. Get long vol. It's 9 days until the potential next shutdown. I think this one's going to be a shit show. So and if you don't become a member here, I don't know what happened to you. Let Uncle Whiz give you a safety tip. Get long vol out a couple weeks. Period. Does everybody understand this? So I hear you loud and clear. Good, Harry. I appreciate that. Message received. So there's a free trade for my JP. I probably go out. Where's the VXX? And JP, I know your head's going to turn 90 degrees to the right. I might just be a straight call buyer, man, and not even do VXX because that VXX atrophies, right? It rebalances every day. And it does that stupid backwardation in contango. This is a rare Whizism, man. I might just be a call buyer of the VIX. I might put some emergency VIX, Chuck Schumer stupid calls in there. So, but I digress. Okay. Judy, I hate covering stuff. And then this is why we only have 50 slots, guys, is because now everybody's interest is talking about vol. We're going to have to make a decision tonight. Either we're going to do training on a long call diagonal or long call Viagra. The hell was that? Or trading volatility. The market had a rip your face off rally open. It pulled back on the potential deep state coup. And I'm telling you, Chuck Schumer he's got blood in his eyes, man. He's furious at this. Okay. Craig, very well said. Awesome. All right, we got it. I think I said long call Viagra. Let's go back to MGM. Let's go, folks. Phyllis will probably talk about vol tonight. Okay, so because I need to do it. Hey man, I'm not only a Hair Club for Men member, I'm also the president. I got to get these trades on too. All right, MGM. Everybody, pull out your trade checklist, your trade plan that I gave to you for free yesterday. All right, let's stay on target. Thank you, Mark. I got to get back on target. So step one, my strategic mindset, again, guys, same as yesterday. It hadn't changed in a day. If anything, it's gotten stronger. I am cautiously bullish. Whiz, we're overextended here. How the hell do you know? I'm telling you, man, Starbucks, we just covered it. One of the most liberal countries in America is like, Yeah, we're also going to increase pay and benefits and hire more people. Oh, wait, I couldn't hear you. You're mumbling, Starbucks. Say it louder. Say it with Apple. Say it with Walmart. They're closing stores. Who freaking cares? If they hadn't given money and just closed stores, people would bitch that it's not hot enough in hell. I am cautiously bullish. I don't have to resend the checklist, folks. It's go. Hey, Larry, look down here. What's that? Bottom left. Look at your control panel over here, Larry, where it says handouts. And it says TGO 1-page trade plan or something like that. It's a PDF. Everybody give me a vertical head nod that you got that. I'll wait for a second here. Hey guys, so we got about, this is pretty damn good. We got about 12 slots that are gone. I am pretty happy with this. So again, folks, we get to Friday if we don't have any monthlies. We don't have any monthlies. So grab your annuals now, guys, because we're moving. All right, everybody's got it. Now let's move. So step one, I am cautiously bullish. What does the cautiously mean, Whiz? You sound like a politician. I'm bullish, but I'm cautious. No, man, I just told you why I'm freaked the hell out. I think volatility might catch a bid here as Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi's base goes bananas and says, shut the government down next time for illegal immigrants. So cautiously means we have to hedge. Does that make sense? Okay. Sandra, I went over synthetic stock yesterday. If you can, watch the replay for JP Morgan. Tonight, I want to talk about volatility, Sandra. So, Sandra, what you need to do if you want me to do synthetic stock in a long call diagonal is you got to get on board, man. I'm going to do it for 2 hours. I'm going to cover an hour there and an hour there. So, Sandra, maybe tomorrow, if I have some time in the Analyze Your Trade session, I will. But, I try and cover one of these tactics during the whole free week, okay? And again, my marketing people drive me nuts, but they're great marketing people. They always remind me that I give too much away during this week, and I probably do, but I'm very passionate about this. All right, step 2 is identify the target. Well, I already told you what the target is. It is MGM. Step 3 is commit criteria. One of the biggest commit criteria on getting bullish on JP Morgan is the fact. Here you go, commit criteria, 3 to 5 sentences, laser-like, hit somebody right between the eyes with it. And after your 3 to 5 sentences, if they don't want to get in that trade, your commit criteria sucks. Hit them right between the eyes. So JP Morgan last week that said that based this wasn't even based on the tax benefits, folks. JP Morgan came out, I read the analyst report, good, it was math, I'm not going to bore you with it. It says a 33% pop to JP Morgan next year. Additionally, earnings are coming out in about a month. I know the MGM, the tragedy is going to suck. The Mandalay Bay obviously isn't hitting the numbers that it's hitting. However, what is going to make up for the Mandalay Bay kind of being underperforming right now? And I know you guys all know the answer to this. What is this? Diane, can we do another bull put spread on Raytheon? Making good money. Glenn, very good answer. China, Macau, Mark, that's one of them. That was going to be my third bullet point. My second bullet point was what? I know it's a layup because we've been talking about it. The taxes. So MGM is the analyst reports I've said, they are projecting a 10 to 13% increase in what? EPS. So I get that the Mandalay Bay property might not be hitting on all cylinders, and it's sad, it sucks, but guess what, folks? That is good. That is very, very good for MGM stock. So we have 3 bullet points. We got MGM, very bullish. I'm not going to say. I met Jim a couple times. Jim Cramer. He's an Eagles fan. He's a good dude. But he's like, you know what? I'm finally coming around to it. I'm bullish on the sin stocks. He likes Wynn. He likes MGM. The taxes and China and Macau. Okay, so we good with that? Make your marking in blue. Yellow is hard to read. I'm sorry about that, Craig. Hey, Craig, I appreciate that. Let me post this. Craig says, don't sweat giving away things. You'll always be successful, not because of what you sell, but because of what you give away. Ask me about Mr. Vega sometime. Awesome. Okay. Sorry about that. My daughter just came home from school and have to wave. Okay. So there's our commit criteria. The tactic we're going to employ is a bull put spread. I'm bullish on Amazon. I want to use puts, and it's going to be a spread. We're going to spread the strikes. Now, some of you might be sitting here going, well, Whiz, I'm relatively new to options. Why wouldn't you do a bull call spread? I could, but I hate them. This is why I want to do a double vertical tonight. A bull call spread, folks, is also called a debit spread. And it's funny that we're talking about MGM because here's the analogy I'm going to use. When you buy something, a car, a house, it immediately experiences what? Something called time decay, theta. How many of you have bought a car and as soon as you peel out of the parking lot, you get that dreaded feeling like, all right, this car just went out down 10 grand. That's why a lot of people buy used cars, is because it's already got that theta built into it, and low mileage. Casinos don't look the way they look, folks, because they give away money, right? They look the way they look because the house always wins. So I like to sell something. So this is what we do. When you sell a bull put spread, you bring in what is called a credit. So if MGM just kind of hangs out here or goes higher, here's a Whizism. Unched on the day equals time decay. Yes, Mary, I'll repeat this. Unched or unchanged. You ever hear that term? General Motors was unched on the day, unchanged. So you see this whole area. This is when we had like 3 or 4 MGM bull put spreads on. Before this rip your face off rally, we had about 3 or 4 $2,000 winning bull put spreads. Well, Whiz, it didn't go up. It didn't need to. The 32.5s, right? Unchanged on the day, you get time decay. So that's why we want to put on a bull put spread. And also from the, let's look at the technical side of this. So we're going to do this right before earnings. What were earnings again? The 20th? Let's do what do we have as far as expiration? Now, let's do Whiz. Earnings are on the 20th. Ladies and gentlemen, most stocks, I will tell you, tend to channel into earnings. So just like the bull put spread we put on yesterday, you know what, Benoit? I don't know how to change. How do you change the color of this? Oh, color. Look at you, Benoit. How about red, blue? Do not. Pen. No. Hold on. Highlighter. You know what, Benoit? It doesn't. The highlighter is a highlighter. It's yellow. Do not go through earnings. Do not trade through earnings. Do not hold this through earnings. You guys know what I'm saying. I'm not going to do that. So, folks, earnings are on the 20th. You can do it. We will get out of this trade before earnings. Everybody give me a vertical head nod and all in unison go, yes, Skipper. You could do the 16th and before. It looks like I've been writing in the snow. Tim's our resident child along with me. All right, so you can hold this before earnings, or you could do, let's price out the one before. So remember, if you're new to options, when you see a month and a year, that means the regular monthly expiration. Okay, that means the third Friday of every month is when equity. The third Friday, folks, is the last day to trade these options. They technically settle. It's called settlement on Saturday. A lot of busy back and forth computer stuff. It used to be paper in the old day, but so February 16th would be the last day, would be when this trade expires. Does everybody understand that? When you see a month, a day, and a year, those are called what? Those are called weekly That's a weekly option. That's a weekly option. Hey, March, April, those are the monthly options, okay? And again, I'm going to teach you all this stuff in our basic academic training. We got it? Good. So let's just take a look at our normal Feb expiration. Where was that little ledge right here? Let's look at the 35.5. Might have to be the 36 with this pop today. Let's look at the 36, 35.5 bull put spread. I like doing 50-cent strikes. I will talk to you in training why I do that over $1. Wow, that's a pretty high probability trade, but the risk is a little north. All right, folks. So let me show you a pilot in command. Frenchie, I didn't forget about Raytheon, man. I'm pressed for time. Raytheon, let me just double check, guys. Raytheon, I will cover if it's not today. Let me show you where's Raytheon? Let me go to the Analyze Your Trade portfolio. And the reason I'm not ignoring Raytheon, folks, where's my Raytheon? Yeah, I think it's on the previous page. I think Raytheon is in the next portfolio. So, Frenchie, my apologies. I'm just running out tomorrow. And the other reason I'm kind of ignoring Raytheon is exactly, guys. Thanks for beating me to it. Is Raytheon does what? Raytheon has what tomorrow? Anybody know? Bueller has earnings. So that's why I'm doing that, Frenchie. So forget I said Raytheon. Let's stick with me. Here's a pilot and command moment, folks. This is a very high probability trade. Okay, if you did what Whiz told you to do all week, you immediately looked here and said, Whiz, my max potential loss in this trade it's a little north of your SOP, man. It's $6,000. You usually don't want to risk more than 5. You're right. Now I'm risking 5 to potentially make 1,700. Okay, well, that risk to reward is okay for me. I'm okay with this trade, especially because there's what? 3 out of 4 times, there's a 3 out of 4 times, or 75% of this time, this trade does what? Makes the max profit of $1,700. Or Brian, you're right. You could do what? Fewer contracts. I'm looking at 150. Maybe you do fewer contracts. Okay. However, I am very, very bullish on. People are starting to jump into the sin, and this is I just gave you my commit criteria based on my strategy in my brain. I'm going to tell you, man, this is also now a what? The big mo. This is a momentum trade. If you joined me yesterday in the primary live trade brief, you know that this is what? This is on a tear. This is on a tear. Wiz's rule of engagement when something is on a tear is what? Either join it or get out of the way. We have the long call diagonal that we're in, so we're joining it, and now we're going to join it again with a bull put spread. So I'm going to go a little bit, I'm not going to say more aggressive, because look at this. This is still a high probability trade. So this is the one Uncle Whiz is doing. The other one is a little bit more conservative. This is, the other one, I'm not going to say it's more accelerated retirement-ish, because this is the one so here we go. Stop talking, Whiz. I'm going to sell 150. Why 150? Give me 2.5 minutes of the Feb 18. Let's not hold it through earnings, especially having to deal with the run-up in Vega volatility of the 36.5 puts. That's a little bit above that cliff on the chart. It's a little bit above right there, but I'm okay with that because, as I said, now we're looking at like a momentum trade. I like it. Whiz, you're wrong. The FBI comes out tomorrow and says it was an inside job and holy crap, it's horrific and MGM implodes. Well, that's going to suck, but we're going to be long these downside 36 puts, okay? So I'm bullish. I'm using puts, and it's a spread. That makes this a bull put spread. What do we also call this in option speak? It's also called a credit spread. Okay, but I call it, the tactic I tend to call it is the bull put spread. I'm going to try and get filled at a 14-cent credit, plus or minus about 2 cents. What's that mean? I'd be willing to go up to 16 cents and down to 12 cents. Anything outside of that is a no-go for me. It's either the risk to reward is either too rich or too crappy. Okay? So everybody give me a vertical head nod. I'm going slow on this one. Again, tonight I'll cover like the adjust and eject levels and all that stuff because we already went over by a lot here, but that's all right. I had to open up our slots. So file, save as, MGM with the date, 124. Okay, so we got a screenshot of the trade that I'll put in the email. And then here's as soon as I clicked analyze, 99% of your eyes needed to go where? Everything we do going forward here at Top Gun Options is about risk. What is our max? How can I get shot down in this trade, Whiz? Well, you could lose $5,400, and using current at the money volatility, there's a 25% probability of that occurring. Well, dude, I ain't happy with that. I wouldn't be either. But guess what? There's the risk to reward is 1 to 0.39, and we could potentially make $2,100. And using at the money volatility, there's a 68% probability of at least breaking even. Okay? So, Mark, Whiz, if not in a long call diagonal out to 2020, wait for pullback to enter. Mark, let me finish the trade, Mark, and we're going to talk about pullbacks. You only know a stock pulled back when? in hindsight. When a trade's going out 2 years, who cares about $2-3 to the up or to the downside? I answered that, but let me give you a longer answer after I finish this. So this is why you want to be an options trader, ladies and gentlemen. Here's MGM's current stock price, the blue line. We make money 3 ways. Well, Whiz, if I bought the stock, I'd make money 3 ways in MGM. You're right. You could buy it, you could hope it goes up, and if it doesn't, you could pray. You do the buy, hope, and pray method if you buy shares of MGM, and you'd be a fool. Here's how we make money as an options trader. We make money 3 ways too. You ready? MGM can go up, obviously. MGM can stay where it is and just hang out. Whiz, it's unched on the day, Whiz. Unched on the day equals time decay. So we could just hang out here for a couple weeks. It could kind of roll over here and move sideways, and we're fine. Folks, MGM can even do what? It can even go down a little bit as long as it stays above what point? Right here, our break even, which is 36.36, right? We're bringing in a 14-cent credit. So just if you want to do the mental math, do it. If not, it's right on your screen. And there's a 71% probability of at least making some scratch or breaking even on this trade. Okay? This is a very good looking trade. However, the original one that I showed you, 50 cents away from this, is what? It's a little more conservative. Okay? So, MGM 124. And, ladies and gentlemen, the only service out of my 4 portfolios that doesn't get text alerts is this one. Why? Because these aren't weekly options. These aren't, hey man, I need to get these on within the next freaking 2 hours. This trade's good for the day, man. So just know that yesterday you got text alerts. Monday, well, my members got text alerts on Monday for weekly options. My potential new members, we're doing the weekly options brief on Friday. And then tomorrow gets text alerts as well. So that's what's going on with that. So let me get back to who asked that. Whiz, is there an upside to the credit you are willing to accept on the bull put spread? Ryan, are you talking about the range? So I said plus or minus 2 cents. Maybe not accepting less than a certain amount makes sense, but why? Well, Ryan, now I got you. So Ryan, here's why if it, Whiz, if you loved it at 14, why don't you love it at 18? I don't love it at 18 because, Ryan, since I put that or wanted to get filled on that trade, that means MGM's coming back a little bit. I need to know why if the credit's going up, Ryan, very good question. If the credit's going up, what's going on? MGM's going down. I want to make sure, Ryan, before you blindly say, shit, man, I'll take it for 18 cents. Take a look, make sure there's no breaking news. Mandalay Bay, I don't know, is Hitler's bunker. And holy crap, now the thing's imploding. You don't want to catch a falling knife. If it's just trading around, Ryan, it's flopping around. I don't see any news. There's nothing systemic about MGM. Then I would take the more credit. Does that make sense? That's a great question, Ryan. Does everybody follow me? If let me bring up the trade here. Actually the credit's gone down a little bit, so we could have made $150 already on this trade. So Ryan's saying, hey Whiz, why wouldn't you like it all the way up here at 15? Remember, a bull put spread is like golf. We want all 14 of these cents, man. We want all 4. So there, if we get filled right here at 14, we want it to go down to 13, 12, 5, 3, 2. We want it to technically expire what? Worthless, a big fat Mr. Blutarski's GPA from Animal House. We want 0.0 on expiration. So Ryan's saying, hey, Whiz, if this thing goes up in price, why wouldn't I love it up here? Well, you might. You just need to make sure that if it's up here at 17 cents, it ain't because the CEO of MGM just came out and resigned, because he's stealing money. Everybody give me a vertical. That's a very good question. We good? Ryan, makes sense. First time I've had that explained. Aha, now it's too good to be true. Exactly. There you go, Ryan. So, hey, Whiz said 14 cents plus or minus 2 cents. It's up at 28 cents right now. I'm getting double the credit he took in. Whiz is an idiot. Well, you might be an idiot because now the stock's down here at 35. So that's why I give you a little bit of the range. And Ryan, if you haven't heard that explained before, that's on me. That's my fault, and I'll take that for action and explain that better during our full throttle training. Okay. All right. A couple more questions, guys. and I forgot to tell you, the adjust level on this trade, if this trade starts going against me, first of all, the eject level. Here's the rule of thumb for Whiz ejecting, and we'll cover this tonight in training, folks. I double the credit that I took in. So at 28 cents, that means MGM is going down for some reason. If I wake up when I come back for a run on the beach, yeah, I'm rubbing it in if you're in Wisconsin. If I go back from a run on the beach and all of a sudden I sit down and look at my brokerage platform, actually it's all right here. I know this happening, but holy crap, the CEO has been indicted. The eject. This is called the eject level. If this trade goes up in value to 28 cents, that's bad. Remember, we want the credit to go down to zero, not up. If it keeps going up, man, there are 2 points in the trade that I will teach you about. One is the eject level. So let's say we get filled at 14, and all of a sudden it's up here at around 22 cents. I call that the adjust level. That's when I take my mask off in the cockpit and I go, all right, I'm starting to smell a little smoke. My engine temperature's running high. Why is MGM pulling back? I call it the potential adjust level. Why is that different than the eject? The eject level is I take my mask off and I smell it. My feet are burning. My wingman's like, Whiz, eject, you're on fire. We don't want to take the $5,000 loss, folks. So this is called the adjust. One's called the adjust price and one's called the eject. Again, I'm going to teach you all this. We're already over on a little bit of time, so let me finish. Let me ignore some questions and talk about this. How could we adjust this trade? Again, I'll cover this in detail tonight, but let me give you the 30-second executive summary. If MGM starts to roll over here and is going down in price, first thing, like I told Ryan, I want to know why. Dude, why is MGM starting to roll over a little bit? Where do we put it on? The 36.5, 36? Whatever it was, right here. So what could we do? If it hits my adjust price and I scratch my chin and go, you know what, Whiz, it's just kind of rolling over. You're right. It had a tear. It had this rip your face off rally. Now it's going to move sideways into earnings. But I want to give it a little bit of altitude just in case. You know what we could do? We could roll the bull put spread down a little bit. Let's roll it down 50 cents. What's that mean, Whiz? We have this spread on. Why don't we roll it down to the 36, 35.5? I will teach you this. Don't worry about it. Don't ask questions now because we'll talk about it tonight. I'm going to teach you. That's called rolling it down. You know what, Whiz? I think the 36, 36.5 are good strikes. I just think it needs a little bit more time. Listen to me and listen to me good. That might be a proper adjustment tactic if there weren't earnings the following week. So this one is not a rollout candidate because I don't trade through earnings, man. You're throwing darts, you're gambling. Understood? So the potential roll out the trade a week or so ain't a good tactic on this one. So ignore that one. So the only thing we could potentially do to adjust this trade if MGM starts to roll over hard is roll the strikes down about 50 cents. That's called rolling it down. Again, I ain't going to roll it out another week because it'll be through earnings. And with my luck, the earnings is awful. Okay? The other potential adjustment is what? Is to simply get out of the trade. Maybe treat your adjust level. You know what, Whiz? I ain't going to wait until I'm on fire. I think this thing's flying downhill quick. My adjust point's going to be my eject. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes I do that, guys. Oh, my God, there's bad news coming out on MGM. Don't sit there and go, maybe I'll adjust it. Let me think about this. And then 3 hours later, it's already blown through your eject. So sometimes your adjust point becomes your eject. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me wrap with this. When I would go flying on a mission over Iraq, I would brief my wingman like, hey, here are the things that could happen in the target area. And I'd brief them. Here's the four most likely things that'll happen when we go and we are feet dry over bad guy country. And then when we get there, based on what's going on, I'm going to say, aha, it's number 2, fellas. We're doing the number 2 thing. So I'll brief you. This is why we call these sessions at Top Gun Options, folks, live trade briefs. If you've ever listened to air-to-air combat or air-to-ground combat, it's usually eerily quiet. Now, let me ask a question here. Why is it eerily quiet over the radio? You know why? It's because things are going, you ready for the word? As briefed. When things aren't going as brief, like, holy crap, what the hell is going on? That's when we got to talk over the radio. So I'm going to brief you. Hey, folks, and again, during our regular trade brief next week, I'll take 10 minutes to talk about the adjust and eject. We're blown on time here. But so I'll brief you, hey, we could maybe roll it down, we could roll it out, we could roll it down and out. I don't know which one of those I'm going to employ if MGM turns around, because I have to have situational awareness as to why it's pulling back. Then I can send out a text alert to everybody and go, hey, folks, let's do number two. Let's roll it down and out. Does that make sense? Plan your trade and trade your plan. HH got it. You got to brief the flight and fly the brief. Whoever just asked for the recordings, you bet, if you missed Monday. Here is the where the recordings are. FT replay, full throttle replay is the replay page, folks. So Jose, I'm sorry you missed Monday night. Here you go, my friend. Here is the replay page. This replay will be on here shortly, and I'll also give you access to the member page where I post the replays. Like I did yesterday, I showed you what our member site looks like. I sent you a copy of yesterday's replay. So here's the replay. All right, let me summarize, folks. We officially are airborne. I'm not going to welcome everybody else aboard. I know by my phone buzzing, it's also WhatsApp from Brazil, and it's also people getting their slots. It's almost like, what was that? It's a Wonderful Life. Every time my phone buzzes, an angel gets their max afterburner slot. So here you go, folks. We're officially open. If we don't fill all 50, I'm thinking we will. If I had to get a call from GoToWebinar that we exceeded 10,000 opt-ins, I'm pretty sure we're going to get 50 annual members. If we don't by Friday, I'll open up some folks to month to month. Okay. We do quarterly options. It's just not on the web page because there's a lot of buttons to push. You can give us a call if you want to do a quarterly subscription. Again, like Harry said, or no, JP said, do the annual. It's the cheapest one because the quarterly is going to be more expensive than just the annual. Everything is on this page you need to know. Okay, so between now and tonight, I guarantee you we get another like 10 to 15 people, in addition to probably the 10 to 15 people we have right now. So is there any questions I can answer about this right now? Because I got to get trading, I got to get this replay out, and I got to plan for tonight. Again, I showed you a lot of the comments as we went. Good briefing, thanks, Harry, Tim, and Benoit. Let's keep printing money. Hell yeah, you got it, Harry. Dan, the volume on our strikes for MGM has gone from 200 to over 1,000. Did we do that again? So, ladies and gentlemen, did we make history? Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't even look at that. Damn it, I should have. Did you look at that? So, ladies and gentlemen, if you've traded MGM, so you're telling me I didn't even look at that. Damn it. So, folks, we just moved the market. Ladies, we did this in FXI last year. There wasn't a ton of open interest in the FXI position we were doing, and we moved the market, and it actually caught a bid. Holy crap, man. We're getting awesome at TJ. When we put this trade on over here? When did I start talking about it? It's kind of leveled off, so maybe it didn't impact the stock too much. We rock, Dan. We rock. Market movers at TGO. Mark this day. There you go, Harry. I appreciate that. Andrew, the Nigerians are watching. Thanks, folks. Judy, if our portfolio is smaller, where do we start if we can't open all positions? Judy, that's a hell of a great question. And Judy, I'm going to answer that right here. So during our welcome aboard session, Judy, I'm going to brief you on all of that. So Judy, that last trade was a perfect example. Hey, Whiz, I ain't risking no $5,000 on no trade, man. My portfolio, my SOP, if you told me my SOP is that I don't want to, risk more than 1,000 on any one trade, maybe you trade 25 contracts. And Judy, what I'm going to brief you on the 5 sectors. I did it Monday night, but when you become a member, I strenuously object. No, I'm really going to brief you on the 5 sectors you need to be in and what trades are in there. Where the hell's my sector slide? So, folks, I talked about this the other night. So, Judy, we'll go through this during our kickoff brief. It's the financials, energy, defense, sin, transports, and I'm going to make an exception to my bad-mouthing tech, the tech you need to be in. Apple, oops.
How about now, folks?
I apologize. So this is what's comical, man, is apparently my computer doesn't have an adjust level. It only has an eject. So I think during one of my rants, I knocked out my power cord. So I gotta throttle back on my rants. But when's the last time we saw a coup against our duly elected president? Anyway, I was apologizing to Judy because I didn't have an adjust level on my computer, and I'm going to write that down as a debrief point. So, so Judy, what we're going to do is in that first, in not only your first full throttle brief, but in each live trade brief you're in going forward, I always cover existing trades, and I'll either say, yeah, I'd get into this one today. This would be another one I'd add to, no, or hold. So absolutely, Judy. So you said you have a smaller account. Again, I can't tell you what to do with your account. I'm telling you what I'm doing. You just have to do a little, use a little bit of your brain housing group. So what I was saying is, in addition to everything on this slide, I make one exception, and that's to tech, and that's going to be Apple. Can't stand Twitter, can't stand Facebook. I know Tiffany's here laughing about all those. I just think we can deploy our capital in other places. I mean, I actually believe Tiffany's going to be right that they're going to do all that, but I think there's better money. Paul, is that right? I saw my last WhatsApp has said victory. So does victory mean he's going to jail? That's awesome. So Judy, and then I'm going to tell you the exact symbols: J.P. Morgan, ExxonMobil, Raytheon, Amazon, MGM, Brasil. What are we missing on here? We're missing an FXI. We're missing that. So add that down. Well, whatever. So Judy, do me a favor, and first of all, just join, and then and I'm going to hook you up. This is going to be a great. This is going to be a great time. Peter, I got to run. Watch the replay, guys. I'm going to send it out, and as soon as I get done here, because I got to trade other stuff, and I got to get ready for tonight. The VIX spiked today on some Davos potential. First of all, Mnuchin talking down the dollar and potential trade wars. It also spiked today on the potential coup, and Wall Street is slowly waking up to the fact that the deep state does exist, and it tried some of the text. If you saw from some of these agents, guys, it threatened physical violence. I don't know why U.S. Marshals haven't been ordered into the FBI to seize all evidence. This is getting into. I'm telling you, man. This is getting into, a clear and present danger zone, man. The Secret Service needs to be looking at some of these FBI agents. Are they allowed near the White House? Whether they're going to shoot the president? Jesus Christ, man. So I'm telling you, folks. So and the last reason volatility had a spike today was what? I covered this. Please watch the replay. Chuck Schumer more or less said, even if the president gives us everything we want on DACA, I'm getting slammed by my base. We're going to shut the government down in a couple weeks. So I talked about this, guys. I can't hang too much longer. You got to watch the replay, okay? So it is Banana Republic stuff. Isn't that off? Isn't that incredible? Sector, Caesar, the sin sector is MGM. It's the casino. I call it the sin stocks. So MGM, I shouldn't call it sin. That's not nice. I'll call it entertainment. He without entertainment. He without sin cast the first stone. So, all right, guys, I got to run. Replay page is right here. I gave you the replay page, and then you got to get airborne, man. Here's the 3 tracks: defensive, offensive, and max afterburner. I just showed you with, what was it, 4 accelerated retirement trades in a month. We made $9,500. 4 winning trades in a month in this portfolio, accelerated retirement. The one Amazon bull put spread on Monday made $2,010. It paid for a defensive track here, guys. So my phone's buzzing, the slots are going. This is going to be awesome. We're probably going to get 50 annual slots by Friday. Like I said, if we don't for some reason, I will open up maybe a handful of monthly slots to fill up the 50 on Friday. But I wouldn't wait, man. Like JP and all my other members said, grab your annual slot now. It's cheaper, and it's a great point. Okay, so guys, I got to run. I went over by 51 minutes here, and I apologize. I think the 21 minutes that I ate was because I had to brief. I hate briefing this stuff, guys. I almost just want to say, here's the page, figure it out. Because I hate marketing. I feel like I want to take a shower, but I obviously think this is the best in the industry. I've showed you testimonials from folks that are livid. I could show you. I don't know if I can black out his email. Maybe I'll show you tonight. I'll black out his email address. But somebody, it was it was profanity laden about how he's wandered around the financial education space for a couple of years, spent about 10 to 15 grand, and he's furious. He's been here for about a year and a half. He's like, dude, I wish I had found you a long time ago. These snake oil salesmen have cleaned me out, and I apologize for that. So, all right, guys. All right. Richard, more brief, less rant. Don't unplug the power cord. Richard, I am not going to apologize for my rants today. Absolutely not. I've never in the history of this republic have we seen something like this. The last time I seen the FBI this dirty, I wouldn't lie, it was under Hoover. This is horrific. There's been a coup. Not only so, imagine Hillary Clinton. You know why she didn't concede right away on election night? She was convinced. She's like, I got everybody. Not only obviously do I have the media in my bag. She's like, They didn't even interview me under oath. The FBI agent who interviewed General Flynn and got him and put the knuckles on him was the same agent that interviewed Hillary and didn't even put her under oath. So no apologies, Richard, for my rant at all today. I swore an oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And if nobody's making up these texts, folks. These things are true, and the FBI mysteriously just lost 5,000 of them. You know why? Because they're treasonous, and it's full of sedition, man. And I'm telling you, I'll go throw my freaking uniform on right now. I'll go arrest these son of a bitches. We have a constitution. The dude, love him or hate him, was duly elected. You hate the Electoral College? Change it. Until then, suck it. Period. All right, so you got a bonus rant. All right, folks, I got to run. I'll see you guys tonight at 8 o'clock for some vertical spread training, or we're talking about volatility. Grab your slot right now. Head to go.topgunoptions.com/getft. And like I said, most of our 80 to 85% of the folks do the max afterburner. It's the best deal. Okay. All right, guys. I'll see many of you tonight, and I'll get you the replay here shortly. God bless, and make sure you hedge. Happy hunting.